welcome to The Built World Around You, the podcast where we explore the people, ideas, and innovations shaping residential and commercial construction, as well as all the industries connected to it. Each week, we're going to sit down with thought leaders, rising stars, and real problem solvers tackling today's toughest challenges. From job site breakthroughs to boardroom strategies, we're here to share the lessons, the struggles, and the success stories that are building tomorrow's world right now. So grab your hard hat, sharpen your pencil, let's go to work. Welcome to The Built World Around You. I am your host, Bobby Thompson, president of the Thompson Group Ventures. Folks, I can't be more excited than I am today. Episode 4, and we've gotten a great outpouring and great support so far. And I have to tell you, when my next guest said yes to being on the show, I was elated because he's a hard charger, a trailblazer. And I will tell you, if you don't know Myles Cardenas, you're about to, and he's going to blow your mind. He's doing great things all over the place, both at the national level through his efforts with the NAHB and the local level in the Atlanta market with his company, Taylor Morrison. So without further ado, please get excited for Myles Cardenas. Myles.
Mr. Bobby, thank you so much. I can't top that introduction there. I appreciate that. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Well deserved, brother. Well deserved, man.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, it's been an honor and a privilege to know you these last few years, and just to be in your sphere of influence and see you operate and do all the things that you do from an outreach standpoint to just your consummate professionalism and everything that you do. You are the one to catch, sir. You set the bar at a high level.
I appreciate that. Thank you for being a resource and a mentor, Mr. Bobby. I appreciate that. And ever since we've known each other, we've always stayed in contact and always had great advice and have always given so much to me and my growth and as I continue to try and figure this thing out for myself. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're very welcome, man. And so, you and I have shared a couple of stages. We're going to be at IBS 2026 on another stage at their groundbreaking new session in the education area, showcasing AI and innovation. I can't say it enough, man. You're doing everything. You're everywhere where everyone wants to be.
I appreciate that. I try my best, Mr. Bobby. There's some places I like to be that I haven't been able to be, but I try to make time to be everywhere I can, especially if you ask me to.
I love it, man. And we're going to get you to those places. Absolutely. I have no doubts in my mind. So, I know you pretty well, and I could sing your graces for hours. But go ahead and give us an introduction for those that don't know you. Who are you and what do you do?
Sure. So my name is Myles Cardenas. I currently work as a land planning and development manager for Taylor Morrison out of the Atlanta division. Have been in the industry full time since graduation from Kennesaw State University in 2017. Have had the opportunity to work for companies like Cal Atlantic Homes, have been able to make it through that merger of Cal Atlantic and acquisition of Cal Atlantic and Lennar Nationwide, and stayed on at Lennar for a little bit, and then went to the private sector for a little bit and worked for a privately held company called McKinley Homes here in Atlanta, and landed here at Taylor Morrison about 2.5 years ago. Um, a product of Kennesaw State University's construction management program. My degree is in construction management, a Bachelor of Science from Kennesaw State University. Have essentially been just a student of the industry. I did not grow up with anyone in my family or immediate family being in the industry. Was always a sports guy, and that was always Plan A. But Plan B throughout my time in high school was centered around taking up some sort of vocational classes in architecture. So I always felt that at some point in my life, I always wanted to build my own home, or be in a position to do so. So I kind of picked up architecture as a route to be able to do that,
Right
and
on.
took up some classes in high school. Sports didn't necessarily work out at some point in my college career, so I pivoted and focused on my career, and it's been working out for me. I've had a lot of great mentors, many of who Mr. Bobby and Dr. Rogers, and a couple of other
Mhm.
people along the way that have helped me figure this thing out. But I've been in the industry, including internship experience, for about 10 years, and have been learning and growing, and been able to do a lot of really good things, and have been looking forward to doing even more. But I've had the opportunity and the pleasure to meet some great people and do a lot of great things along the way.
I love it. I love it. I can tell you that you're 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 not really telling the folks all the things. So I'm gonna give you some prompts. I'm gonna give you some prompts. So I
Absolutely.
do a lot of additional things in the industry, right? And so from your experience being on the NAHB student chapter and all your work with all the students, as well as the HBCU leadership program that
Mhm.
you also do for the NAHB. What else is there? Because I know you have a lot of projects that you're currently working on. What's exciting that you're currently working on?
Yeah, so on top of those programs, obviously working on just big workforce development initiatives here in the greater Atlanta area with our local home builders association, the Greater Atlanta Home Builders Association.
Mm,
So a lot of other exciting projects have been geared towards workforce development, getting at the grassroots level. Right now it's high school, but getting into some of the middle schools as well, and just talking to students about careers in construction and getting them excited about it. I mean, everything that we know about the construction industry and the labor shortage, and trying to get more young people in construction, and the average age of a construction professional being in the high 50s, and all that good stuff that
mhm.
we do know or don't know. We're really just trying to get more young people interested in construction. As I mentioned, it wasn't really something I had thought about growing up, and came to me once I got to college, high school, but really got to college as an option. And I've really just been trying to use um, the ability to still relate to the younger generation right now, and be able to talk to them about all the things that are available to them as a young person in the industry, and hopefully get them excited about making that decision for themselves. Obviously, there are a lot of things out there that young people can get into and get interested in, that might be a little bit more fun or might look better on paper than the construction industry. But for me, it's really just been about getting in front of the students, talking to them, giving them opportunities, options, a little bit more insight into what the construction industry has done for me and other people around me, in ways that it can help them as they try to make decisions for their futures themselves. So, I mean, outside of that, just trying to do some personal things and personal projects here in the Atlanta market, with just expanding some of my own skills into my own personal projects. But right now, really, it's been a lot of workforce development initiatives, talking to local executives, other home builders associations, and BIAs, and talking to them about just the need to get in front of students, especially for the residential construction industry being kind of behind the commercial industry when it comes to making the construction opportunities, or opportunities in the construction industry on the residential side, be viable options for them to look into as far as students are concerned. So just trying
Yeah.
to create that sense of urgency, at least for the residential industry.
When you think of the trade shortages
Hmm.
that we have for skilled trades, and then you think of the management shortages that we have for folks that are going to facilitate all that it takes to build the over 300,000 moving parts that go into residential construction,
Hmm.
designed by, installed by, and sold, marketed, and completed by humans. When you think of all of that, it's a wonder why, there's a shortage, that we're not able to stem the gap. Take all of the complications out of it, that we're
Hmm.
not able to meet the gap that we currently have from a skilled labor or educated labor force.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on how do you get to that grassroots that you're talking about to stoke the flames of seeing the building industry as a viable solution? What's that number one thing that resonates with those rising stars?
I think it's really a lot of when you're getting to the middle school and high school level, um, you start to realize how many students are thinking about money at a very early age. So the
Okay.
conversations that we have with the younger generation at the middle school and high school level is just about the earning potential that these opportunities in the residential construction industry and the construction industry as a whole can bring to them, as they're starting to make decisions about what to do with their lives once they finish school. I hate to say it, but a lot of times the conversations and the discussions that we bring up with students are centered around, hey, here's the earning potential, here's where you can start,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's what you make it, and this is just a starting level for it. But no, you can only go up from here, and here's some people that have made a great career out of the industry, have done really well for themselves and their families, and the next generation, it's essentially only gets better from there as it relates to their earning potential. So I would say that the number one thing that we try to make sure we get out in front of students is the earning potential. Outside of all the careers and options that are available to them, I think a lot of students at that level think that the only jobs in construction consist of being outside, swinging a hammer, or being on a ladder, and being in a construction environment that most people see or think about construction when they drive by a construction site. So the other aspect of those conversations includes, okay, we there's marketing, there's insurance, there are products, there's technology and AI, drones. There's so many different things, law. There's so many different things that touch the construction industry that you can be a part of, and that does not include you being outside and swinging a hammer, or being a
That's
project
exactly right.
manager, or being in a trench somewhere. And everybody thinks about construction as dirty jobs, and a lot of our discussions with students is there are those opportunities for those of
Mhm.
those students that want to go into that kind of field, or that opportunity. But for those that don't, there are so many other opportunities in the construction industry, or jobs in the construction industry, that touch all these different things that many people glamorize. So, the lawyers, there are lawyers out there. There's so many different things that touch our industry that students have the opportunity to take advantage of and explore.
That's fantastic. So, we all work to pay bills, right? And we all
Mhm,
work to provide ourselves and our families with the lifestyles that, we want to have and to hold or grow upon.
mhm,
So, it doesn't shock me right now in these economic uncertain times that those rising stars that are coming up, because you have some fantastic young leaders in the HBCU leadership program.
mhm,
They are just rock stars, all of them. And it doesn't surprise me that motivation and upward movement, uh, of that motivation to make more in an earning potential is one of the driving factors.
mhm,
It's one of the, let's call it AI proof career paths that are out there. And there's a trend for students wanting something that has legs and longevity
mhm.
in that field. So that's exciting to hear that that's what you guys are seeing as you're doing these workforce development efforts.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to continue to grow and evolve. I mean, as students learn more about the industry, as we learn more about our own industry ourselves, there will be other opportunities, other jobs, even other gaps that we'll have to fill. I think there's always the room to figure out more about our industry that we don't know.
Mm,
And I think we're starting to do that a little bit more as we evolve as an industry with everything that's going on around us. So we'll start to figure it out, and as we start to figure it out, we'll start getting the word out to more students, and trying to get even more students and more young faces into the industry.
that's fantastic. When I think of all the folks that uh, I've bumped into, all of those new future leaders that are joining all of the annals and institutions of construction education, and they're trying to make their way. One of the
Hmm.
questions that comes up most oftentimes are, how do they differentiate themselves from the others? Because everyone's in that same rat race, right?
Yeah.
So if you had to say, what's one way someone that is, whether they join the construction industry, whether they're a student, what's one way that a new industry employee can differentiate themselves between their peers and them?
So that's a good question. In talking with the other students about resume building and trying to apply for certain jobs, I always recommend, if you have done anything that shows that you take the initiative to do anything outside of just waking up and going to school every day and coming back home, you really want to show that and wear it on your sleeve as a badge of honor to say, hey, I've really taken the initiative to better myself, whether that's going out to try different job opportunities for those that are in college doing internships, even at the high school and college and middle school level, joining different clubs. You
Hmm.
really just want to set yourself apart as someone who has taken the initiative to do as much as they can and learn as much as they can about what they're trying to get into. I think that really sets a lot of people apart, because when you're looking at resumes and the people that do it well and do talent acquisition, they have all these different things and measurements that allow them to get through resumes very quickly. It's really really hard to read a ton of resumes and pick a candidate, but there's a lot of things that go into the resume process and talent acquisition process that helps them get through that a lot quicker, than if you and I were looking through resumes trying to pick the right person. And again, I think that a lot
Right.
of the next generation of people that are looking to stand out with someone next to them that may have some of the same credentials and background, the thing that sets everyone apart is taking the initiative and the intangibles. Those are the two big things I would say. So I think that there's a lot that goes into that. Obviously, there's some people that aren't afforded the same opportunities as others. And I
Hmm.
think that there are some workarounds to that to try and get to a point where, you are head and shoulders above someone that you're competing against for the same opportunity. But then that goes into the intangibles piece and being able to get in front of someone and really talk about why you're the candidate for that particular opportunity, and what sets you apart. So I would always say, highlighting things that you've done, things that you're proud of, things that you've gone above and beyond to really put yourself in a position to better yourself professionally, um, and personally, from
Right
a
on.
professional and personal development standpoint, and being able to highlight those and show that this is something that you really take seriously, and that this particular opportunity you've been working for to really prepare yourself for, and be able to set yourself apart from someone else.
No, I love that. And so when we're talking about intangibles, we're talking about soft skills
Hmm.
that are multipliers to those education programs, to those certifications that people
Hmm.
are getting. One of the ones that I see is a strong problem solving skill set,
Yep.
right? Someone who can take a complex problem and showcase how they're able to get it to resolution or overcome that obstacle of that problem and
Hmm.
do it, whether it's cross functionally with other teams and other team members, or taking upon themselves, have that self drive, that initiative that you're talking about
Hmm.
to solve for or problem solve a situation. Is that what you're also seeing?
Yeah, I think that especially in our industry, solving problems every day is what we do. Whether you're in a project manager role, or if you're in the field with the trades, or even if you're on the other side of things when it comes to the associates, which would be the people that provide services to builders. You're solving problems every day. There's always something that needs to be solved. So having that problem solving gene or mindset or soft skill, is something that goes a really really long way. And I feel like in a lot of interviews that question comes up, in our industry, about how you solved a problem. So
Hmm.
being a person that takes the initiative, it has a great skill at solving problems, does go a long way, because I think a lot of people are really trying to figure out who's going to be self-sufficient, who's going to be someone that they can give something to and they can go solve the problem, or be in a position to figure out what the problem is with some help. It's just it's something that I think a lot of people take very very seriously to figure out if they're hiring someone that can take the initiative, can essentially problem solve in the industry where there's something to solve all the time.
Right on. So when you think of all of the mentor mentee relationships that you've had, and you've touched on some folks that made an impact in your career.
Hmm.
But when you think of those rising stars that are in your sphere of influence right now, who is a rising star that sets themselves apart and you see them with upward growth potential right now?
That that is a good question. Working with a lot of students in the HBCU program, there have been several students that have stood out. Um, Two that automatically come to mind from our last cohort and our first cohort. Well, three. We've got Brittany Holt from Morgan State. She's come back and she's helped the program and helped the cohorts ahead of her, behind her, or essentially ahead of her, to navigate some things that are going on their campuses, make sure they have resources. Our second cohort, we've got Angelo Little and Junie. Um, they are from Angelo is from Norfolk State and Junie is from FAMU. Two very very bright, very energetic minds. We were able to get both of them opportunities in residential construction after getting them into the cohort. They're out there doing a lot of great things, and this year we've got several that we've connected with already. You've got, a couple students from Lawson State and students from other colleges and universities in the HBCU realm that are doing really, really great things. I've got several students that I keep in touch with from the HBCU program that might not have gone through the cohorts, but have come through an HBCU that has been a part of NHB. Um, I've got, Keenan Webb. He works for Pulte here in Atlanta, doing a really, really good job, and is on a track of, succeeding and further beyond, his original plans for himself in the industry, now that he's in the industry and he's planning himself and getting the resources that he needs. So there's so many students, it's hard to name one, but there are a lot of students that I've met either through this program, through the cohorts, or through just being involved with student chapters or being involved with mentors that have gone to different schools and universities, that I see a lot of potential in, and some of them have already started that upward trajectory in their careers. Some of them are still in school. Some of them have graduated and really started their full time opportunities and really looking to grow from there. So many important faces, people that I've met along the way, and we're making sure to highlight them at NHB and making sure to share their stories. So
I love it.
there's a lot, Mr. Bobby. There's a
I
lot.
love it. And I know that's a curveball because I already know that all of the students that are coming through the program are fantastic, right? They're
Yeah.
all rock stars. So I know that's a rough curveball to throw you. Because if we could list every single student, we would. But love your answer to that, and I appreciate you going down that path with me.
Yeah,
I
absolutely. And Marcus Rayner, from North Carolina A&T, he's very energetic and has started working with True Homes, and he's doing an awesome job as well.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I like how spread out geographically the industry obviously is everywhere, and as small as it is, and we all know each other from 6 degrees of separation, right?
Yeah.
But to hear of all of the builders out there and all of the companies that are really understanding that this talent pool, they're just on fire, man. They're so great at what they do, informed, educated, and driven.
Hmm.
And I can't wait to see what this future leader cohort that's taken the industry by storm, what they're going to end up doing for the industry in a positive light. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, really looking forward to it as well. I think that particular program is breeding a lot of leaders. They've already been change makers. They've made the decision to get into the industry, coming from the communities and backgrounds they come from, and being people that have essentially taken the charge to make a change and to transform the industry from their vantage point. And I think that going forward, we'll definitely see all of the students from the cohorts doing something great, whether they're in residential, whether they're in commercial, in the construction industry going forward for sure.
I love it. So I do have a question for you. If you were to take one nugget, one blueprint, idea, principle, or lesson, and give it to the next generation of professionals and problem solvers, what would it be?
Um, I think one of the biggest things that I think is really important, Mr. Bobby, is mentorship. I don't think that anything I've done in this industry I've done alone. There's always been someone along the way, whether it was someone that I worked for, someone that I worked with, a mentor that that really helped me figure this thing out. I still don't have it figured out yet, so I don't want to say that I have it figured out and that I've got a big idea to change the world one day. But I do think that we can change the world and change the industry through mentorship. I do think that reaching back and giving to the next generation that is coming up behind us, that has interest in this industry and has questions about how to do things and questions about how to do things differently that may be able to set themselves apart, provides an opportunity just for us to be able to say, hey, you know what? I've done this, I've done that. Here's some mistakes that I've made. Here's some things that I've pushed through. Here's some success that I've had, and I would like to share it with you to make sure that if this is something that you really want to do, that you have some sort of idea, some sort of blueprint, not necessarily that you can follow, but some things that you can think about as you're making decisions about your own future. I think that that's one of the most important things and one of the biggest nuggets that I can give, that I try to continue to do through the work that I'm doing, either here in Atlanta and nationally, is just being someone that can be available to the next generation to talk to be a mentor to, organically and obviously in a more professional way. But um, being able to just be a resource to the next generation as someone was for me as I was making the decisions and trying to think about ways that I can better myself and better position myself and my future self and family in this industry.
I love it. Being helpful and giving for the giving's sake. I
Absolutely.
love it. I love it.
Absolutely.
Well, Miles, you know you have a lot going on, and I appreciate you taking the time and hanging out with us and having some conversations about the world around you. And I do want to know if somebody wanted to reach out to you, connect to you, to be a mentor or mentee, or learn more about the things that you're doing. What's the best way for them to reach you?
Absolutely. So you can find me on LinkedIn, at Myles Cardenas, my name. I'm on LinkedIn. Obviously, if you want to reach out to me via email, my email is my first initial, Miles, or M Cardenas, Cardenas, at taylormorrison.com. More than happy to connect with you either via email or on LinkedIn. Either way, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to always be a resource. And if I can't help you, I will always find someone that can.
That's right.
So that's a part of being a mentor, is you may not be able to help everyone, but you can, essentially help position them to have someone else help them. So that I'm all in the business of being able to either help someone, whether I can do it myself or point them in a direction of someone who can. So both of those
That's awesome.
ways are the best ways to reach me right now, for sure.
All right, Miles. Well, I appreciate you so much for coming on the show, and we're going to see you here soon at the next event.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Bobby. I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 4. If you like what you're hearing, definitely give us a shout, give us a like, give us a comment. We love to hear from you. It helps everyone understand what's going on in the built world around you. Until next time, have a great day. Thank you for listening to the built world around you. If today's conversation gave you new insights or sparked fresh ideas, be sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review. It helps more builders, leaders, and innovators join the conversation. Until next time, keep building smarter, leading stronger, and shaping the world around you.